Hiya, welcome back to my channel. Wow, let's just pretend that didn't happen. I'm not even going to say hiya again because it's the third time I'm doing it. Hiya, welcome back to my channel. So today is the labor and delivery story. So I have on my phone here, don't mind my Tesco coupons in the back here, a timeline of everything that happened across the 3 days that it took to get this baby out of my body. From the last video, I had explained that I was induced. I don't know if I did actually. No, okay, so I did explain that I'd been having serial scans during my pregnancy, the kind of last trimester of my pregnancy. Due to my BMI, the doctors were a bit worried that the baby's going to grow too big and I won't be able to push him out and C-section and all that stuff. So I was having scans every 2 to 3 weeks to keep an eye on the growth of the baby. Now at my 37-week scan, if I remember correctly, he measured exactly 7 pounds, which was fine. And then I had my next scan at 40+1, so the day after my due date. Went in for the scan, and because I've been so used to seeing these scans all the time, I kind of had an idea, you know, from seeing the scans and Dr. Google, what my son should be measuring at 40+1 on considering the kind of growth weight curve or whatever he'd been having at that point. So I knew as soon as she measured, not when she measured his head, but when she measured around his stomach, I was like, that seems a bit on the small side. Now, because I've been having issues with my liver, so after every ultrasound, I had to get blood tests done and see a consultant. So the consultant came in after my scan, and I remember he put down all my medical notes, my file and everything, and then next to it, it had a piece of paper that says the day about your induction. So in my head I was like, damn it, they're gonna induce me, which I really didn't want, even more so because I witnessed my sister's 5 day long induction that ended in a C-section. So they were gonna induce me if I hadn't naturally gone into labour by that Friday. So that was Monday. So Friday came, hadn't gone into labour naturally, and so me and my husband went down to the hospital on the Friday morning about 8:30, and I was due to be induced. I think they said they were going to start it from 9 AM. 9:30 they did their assessment. They put you on the CTG, where they just kind of check the baby's heart rate and all that stuff. They basically put, it looks like a little packet of like, I don't know, lube or something. And they put it up in your vagina and it's supposed to soften the cervix, right? I had been, up until this point, I'd been having contractions every day, every blessed day from 37 weeks. So I was thinking, well, I've been having contractions, they've been doing cervical checks, membrane sweeps, couple doses of this prostate gel is all I'm gonna need, and then labor will be going and baby will be out. And let me not even be optimistic and say Friday, let's say this baby will come on Saturday, early hours of Saturday morning. So they gave me the first dose of prostate gel, and because I'd asked everyone I knew that had inductions, my sister, everyone I knew, I just knew that, oh, it can like start feeling like period pains. Nobody told me that that stuff burns like you got a UTI. And when you're pregnant, you get a lot of UTIs. It burned like someone just shaking a packet of the chili side of Indomie just over your lady bits. Hey! I remember that burning feeling came with a feeling I'm gonna pee myself. Now, I'm not stupid. I know that stuff's got to be up close by your cervix for it to work. But I said, no, I need to stand up. I need to stand up. I need to go pee. And they had said to me, no, Rose, you know, we just put it there. At least sit down for half an hour and then go to the toilet. Because they want to put you on the CTG again whilst they put the gel up there, just to make sure baby doesn't have no adverse reactions to it. Like, you know, his heart rate doesn't skyrocket or something. Like, I didn't like it. So I was like, no, I need to pee. I'm gonna wet this bed if I don't go pee. I went to the toilet, and you know how when you're like right at the end of pregnancy and you go to pee, you feel like you're busting to go pee, and then when you go and sit on the toilet, one two twinkle drops comes out. That is what happened. I felt so shamed in the toilet. I was like, I might as well just sat on this bed and just let myself wee myself, because hell, it wouldn't have even wet my panties at this point. I was in a lot of pain. With hindsight, it wasn't that bad, but at the time it was very, very, very uncomfortable. It wasn't definite contractions, but I do remember sitting on the bed, and I remember my husband was filming me, and I was trying to cover the side of me because I had no underwear on, with a pillow, and I was just sitting there like. So I sat down for about 3-4 hours, to be honest, and they want you to be doing it for 6 hours and come back after 6 hours for them to check if your cervix has moved at all. Reassessment came and went, there was nothing. no change. So Saturday morning comes, they give me the next dose of Prostin gel, and I was really uncomfortable. At this point, it was contractions. It wasn't just the kind of ongoing pain, because whenever I needed to go pee, I couldn't. Like, how do I explain this? Okay, so if you've been pregnant before, you'll know what I mean, in the sense of when you get right to the end of pregnancy or in labor, there's a lot of pressure from the baby's head where it drops and it comes down on your vagina. Now, the pressure was so much in this case that, you know, if you need to go pee, there's going to be a lot of analogies here. If you need to go pee and you're not near the toilet, you hold it. When you get to the toilet, you can release whatever tension you're holding so the pee can flow. Right, there was so much pressure that I couldn't release to go pee. So my husband would have to hold me like here, and I'd have to hold on to him and squat over the toilet because I couldn't sit all the way down. It was too painful. I had to squat over the toilet and go to pee. And it, on Saturday, was so painful that even that was not working. By afternoon, that wasn't working. So I remember crying, saying, I need to pee so bad, it hurts, but I can't pee. So the midwife told me, they'd done the check, there'd been no change at this point. No, they hadn't done the check yet. They told me to have a bath. So I had a warm bath. It took about 45 minutes, but then finally I was relaxed enough that I could pee in the water. So after a while, the water started pissing me off. So I went to get out of the bath, and I was convinced at this point something's going on. They checked me and they said, no, Rose, I'm afraid there's still been no change. We can come and give you, and she was ready and prepped with all her stuff in the little, you know, bowl thing to give. I said, I don't want any more gel. I've had enough of gel. I'm sick of gel. I want you guys to cut me open and take this baby out by cesarean. I've given it my best shot. It's been a day and a half. I don't want no more. I want a C-section. So, you know, the midwives, they talk to you in that really calming, like I'm talking to a 2-year-old tantruming voice. Okay, Rose, we're going to leave you alone for tonight. We're not going to do anything to you again. Get some rest. Tomorrow morning we'll have a chat with the doctors and we'll try and come up with another plan and see what we can do to get baby out. I tried to bounce on the ball. I couldn't sit on the toilet. What was I doing trying to bounce on the ball? I tried to go for a walk, just up and down the lap, as in come out of my room and walk up and down the hospital corridor. It took me like 10 minutes to get from one end to the other because of the contractions. And all this time, no, there's no change in your cervix. And I felt like such a failure at this point, because I thought, if this is not actual labour and I can't cope, how am I going to cope when actual labour begins? Now, I think it got to about 9 o'clock at night, and the contractions were coming with regularity. Like, I think it was about every 5-6 minutes they were coming, but there was regular contractions and I was in a lot of pain. My husband, I called the midwife because I was in so much pain. Even my husband called the midwife, or the midwife came to check on me, and she said, okay, you've been having a lot of contractions, and I'm pretty sure there's a clip, right? I'm going to insert it here if I can. Because in this particular clip, right, my nightgown is basically up to my tits and I have no shame, and I'm wailing like a cow. I'm mooing like a cow, wailing like a blue whale in the ocean, just I didn't scream in labour. That's the noises I was making. So I'm going to try and show you this clip if I can censor my backside out of it. If I cannot, just take my word for it. I was mooing like a cow, yeah? And so the midwife came in and she could see, she stayed for about maybe 15 minutes, and she could see how regularly my contractions were coming. So she decided, we're going to check again because I think something's happening now. And at this point, the cervical checks are so painful, the midwife has got to give me gas in there to get through them. So she gave me the gas in there, she did the check, and she said, your cervix is still really far, it's still quite far back because it's too painful. When I'm doing the check, it's too painful for me to get all the way to the back and try and like do any kind of sweep or feel anything. Like, it's still quite far back. So I remember being so distraught and just like, what is this? I'm going through all of this, nothing is changing, the contractions are getting worse, you guys can't give me anything because I'm not in active labour. Like, I was so depressed. So she tried to tell me, just sleep it off. And I remember saying to her, no, I can't sleep it off. You need to give me something. Something that's going to put me to sleep, something that's going to take the pain, something, because I can't cope like this. Remember, this started at Friday 9 a.m. This is now Saturday night, like 10, 11. She said, all right, I'm going to give you diamorphine. Let me check what time it was that she gave it to me. Just after 10 at night. So she gave me diamorphine. And she said, it's not going to take the pain away. However, you're going to be so happy, you ain't going to care. You're going to have a contraction, it's going to hurt, then you're going to fall asleep like you don't even remember you had a contraction. And true, that's what it did. And I remember she said, it's going to make me dizzy, so don't open your eyes. Just keep your eyes closed the whole time. So she gave me the injection in my leg, the diamorphine, and then I remember she went away. Even my husband was starving, so he went to go and get some food from a kebab shop that was open in town. And I remember Match of the Day was on. Match of the Day was on the iPad, and I kept trying to watch Match of the Day, but I was listening to Match of the Day, and I remember I'd have a contraction, scream into the pillow, and then I'd fall asleep. And I'd wake up when I have another contraction. It went on and on and on for hours. So anyway, one of the contractions, I felt like the wave, because it kind of feels like a wave, like a surge of pain that gets worse and worse and worse and then fizzles out. So I could feel the beginning of one, and then I just felt, boop! And I was like, babe, wake up. And he was like, what? I don't think he was properly asleep. He was just kind of resting his eyes, but he wasn't really asleep. And I said, get the midwife, my water's just broke. And I was like, thank you, Jesus, something is happening. So looking at the timeline, that happened at just before 2 a.m. So I remember the midwife came and said, oh, this is great. Do you mind if I do a check just to see if anything's changed? I said, go ahead, do the check. Because now I'm thinking something must have happened. And she said, congrats, Rose, you're 2 centimeters dilated. I was over the moon. Now I'm thinking 2 freaking centimeters. But at the time I was like, yay, something has happened. That means my cervix has come forward, it's dilated 2 centimeters, and my water's broke. Woo, we're on the way. So yeah, so we walked over to the actual birthing suite, so the room I'd give birth in. And I remember I was like, can I have the gas in there now? She said, yep, go ahead. So the room was quite large, but where the tubing for the gas in there was quite short, and the place that they plug it into like a wall, it's not like a canister, was like right at the left side of the room. So everything in the room got wheeled to the left side, and even then I had to lean to the side to breathe in the gas in there. I didn't care. Wherever I could stay close to the gas in there is where I wanted to be. I was having contractions regularly. I had gas in there, whoop, the bay, gas in there. And I remember at one point I was talking crap. I'm sure there's a clip of this. And I said something like I was having a fight with Theresa May about public funding for schools. I was so high. I was so high, talking the most crap. Up until this point, whenever I had a contraction, I would stand up. I couldn't lie down with the contractions, apart from when she had given me the diamorphine. Before that, any contraction I had to get up off the bed. I had to lean on a wall, lean on someone, just be upright. When they moved me to the birthing room, they put me on the CTG again, the one, you know, the like 2 bands that go around your belly with the 2 round things, and it was hell, because every time I have a contraction, I'm stuck on this stupid bed, and I would wriggle all the way, basically trying to slide off the bed like a banana or something, like a bar of soap, just whoop. And I remember my husband kept trying to cover my legs on the bed, like, oh, you know, preserve my, there was no dignity left, but preserve my dignity. And I remember at one point the midwife said, you might as well give up, love, because she's going to kick it off again in about 10 seconds. So, because I kept wriggling and stuff, they couldn't keep an eye on the baby's heart rate. So they said to me, Rose, we've got to put a clip on the baby's head, like the scalp fetal monitor. So at this point, I didn't care. I said, yeah, do whatever. Shove your whole fist up there, whatever. So they put the clip on, but I'm still stuck on this stupid bed. So I kept wriggling every time I have a contraction, sliding off the bed, to the point where I've managed to kick the thingy off with the baby's head. They're like, Rose, I think you've removed the monitor from the baby's head. I said, no, it's there, you just can't hear it. They said, no, Rose, you've clicked it off. No, it's there, listen. I said, no, it's there, listen. They said, no, Rose, it's not there, we have to put it on again. So this time they put it on again, and they put some heavy duty tape, yeah, and stuck the cable thing to my leg, so that no matter how much I kicked, it didn't pull the clip off. And I know it was some heavy duty tape, because it took me like a week to wash the sticky residue off my thigh. I was scrubbing for like a week to get that stuff off. Anyway, it got to, I think, close to 5 a.m. And I don't know why, because now I think about it, my water broke at 2 and this was like 5, so it's only 3 hours, but they said I wasn't contracting fast enough, so they wanted to put me on the hormone drip. Now if I had right mind senses, I'd be like, this is only 3 hours, why are you people so stressed? But at the time I didn't care, I was out of it, I was just whatever. So they said, you're not contracting fast enough, we want to give you the hormone drip. Now bearing in mind, I said I had witnessed my sister's 5-day labour ordeal. I said nobody is coming near me with no drip unless I get a epidural. Because my sister said to me, she said, Rose, don't be no hero. I remember her, when I remember being in the room when she was in labour and she got that hormone drip. My My girl was beyond Pluto, mate. Oh, Rose, you've been doing so well up until this point. You've been doing fantastic. You can do it, don't worry. I said, listen, yeah, no one coming near me with no drip. I want an epidural. So I said, okay, Rose. They called the anaesthetist. I remember he said to me, so for some reason I wanted to lie down. So now I wanted to lie down. So I said, I don't want to sit up and lean over. Can I lie down? He said, yeah, you can do the same position, just lying on your side. So I remember thinking, these contractions are coming thick and fast. And my guy's talking, oh, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to give you some anaesthetic, and then there's a larger needle, but you won't feel it because of that anaesthetic, and I'm going to feel in between your bones in your spine, and then I'm going to inject it into a space called something, 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 and then I'm going to put in some fluid, and and that's the epidural site, then I'm going to tape it up, and then all this time I'm having contractions in my head. It's like, oh yeah, please shut up. Do what you got to do so I can feel no pain. I didn't know. My husband said that it was like a distraction tactic because I didn't know that he was doing it while he was talking. I thought he was giving me explanation before he was going to do it. I was like, just shut up and do it, innit? From the top of my stomach, like the bottom of my ribs up to my pelvic bone, I couldn't feel anything. And it was great. However, I still was feeling a hell of a lot of pressure in my vagina. So I still used the Gassonet to deal with the pressure I felt whenever I had a contraction. I think I was like 6-7 centimeters dilated, and the doctor had said that, when he's doing the checks, he can't feel which position the baby's head is in. So he thought my baby's head was facing the wrong way. So when I did an ultrasound, they said, yeah, the baby's in I think it's an OP, something posterior position, it was facing the wrong way. And his heart rate kept going down when I'd have a contraction. So then I thought, oh, his heart rate's dropping, they're going to wheel me in for an emergency C-section. All of this has been a waste of time. So I remember the midwife was worried about it. So she went and called the doctors. My doctor came in, a consultant came in, two other men came in. And I remember they were doing all their little conversations, looking at the charts and everything. I said, please, I've been doing this since Friday morning. I don't want the baby to be in danger, but please, if it's possible, I really want to push the baby. And they said, oh no, he's fine. His heart rate is dropping a bit, but it's recovering nicely. He's not in any danger at the moment. If it gets any worse or it's not recovering after the contraction, then we've got a problem. I said, fine, thank you very much. And the doctor checked and he said, you're going to be ready around about 2 o'clock. So fast forward to, I started pushing, I think around 10 to 2. Yeah, it says here 1:58. They said, you're ready to start pushing. And they let me do a couple of practice pushes, but now I said, yeah, it's time to start pushing. And I remember in the moment thinking, this feels so ordinary. Like, it doesn't feel like, I don't know what I thought if I was going to start hearing, I don't know what, I don't know what I was expecting, like angels from heaven, like, hallelujah. I don't know. I don't know, maybe Hollywood has ruined it for me, one body for me. I don't know, there's always some cute music playing in the background and it's like some magical fairy dust in the air and I don't know. But it felt, when they said, it's time to start pushing, I said, is it really? He said, yeah. And then I was like, it feels so ordinary, just an ordinary moment in an ordinary day. Obviously it's not, but that's how it felt in the moment. Like, why is there not a trumpet going pimping in something? Anyway, he told me to start pushing. And the first push, or first couple of pushes, I remember they kept saying, oh, you're doing really well, Rose, but you need to really, really push. And the doctor said, Rose, listen, your son's heart rate is dropping, and so we can't spend a lot of time pushing. You need to push really, really hard to get this baby out quickly. That's all I needed to hear. And I remember his head had kind of come down a bit, where it was just at the opening, so they said, oh, Rose, you can feel his head. And I remember feeling his head and I'm like, oh my God, is that my baby's head? And he said, yeah. And it felt all wrinkly and wet. And I was like, okay. So I remember saying to the lady, I can't feel the contractions in my stomach. Can I push now? She said, no, wait. So I remember she said, okay, there's a contraction coming, you can push. And I remember pushing, and then I could, it got past a certain point, and then I could feel the head coming down like this. I remember distinctly feeling this kind of, in my mind, what felt like it was doing this. So I remember feeling that and thinking, okay, if I can feel that, that means I'm pushing right. And they were like, yes, Rose, keep going, you're doing really well. Now, what had happened is, normally a baby's head's gonna come and be delivered this way. My son's head wasn't like that. My son's head was like this. Now, either way, the head is big, right? But this circumference is a lot smaller than this circumference right here. So normally, you push out the baby's head, and then you'd be like, okay, take a pause, whatever, whatever, and then you deliver the shoulders and everything. But because my son Ted was coming like this, they were like, where is the face? Where is the face? All they were saying was like this, where is the face? Where is the face? I just pushed as hard as I could. There was no, okay, Rose, pause. It just came out all in one go, just so everything came out like a bullet. I shouldn't say like a bullet. No, he's a black boy. Not like a bullet. He just came out flying, yeah, like a rocket. He came out like a rocket. That's what I'm gonna say. Ooh, he was born. And I remember the doctor lifting him out all, and he had one big conch on his head from where he had been like in that position for a while. And he brought it, and I felt like it was like bringing out a rabbit out of a magician's hat. And he put him straight on my chest, and I was just like, oh yeah, I completely lost it. I'm not emotional now because this was 6 months ago, and I think about it and I watch the videos and I get a little bit teary-eyed. But at the time, I was a wreck. I was a complete wreck. I just cried and cried and cried, and I can't believe I did it. And oh my gosh, he's beautiful. And it's just, I'm gonna play the clip for you guys to see. You're so handsome. Look at you. Oh, look at you. You're so beautiful. Oh, oh, look at you. Okay. So here is that little bundle of joy. Where's it? Hi. He's so confused right now with all these lights. This is Madison. 6 months old now. Let's say hi. Look, the camera's this way. See? You gonna say hi to the people? Say hi. Say hi. Yeah, this is the one that took 3 days to come out of my belly. He's so confused right now. And if you want to see him, he pops up on my Instagram stories from time to time. So yeah, this is him. I'm rambling. I'm hot and sweaty. He's upstairs with his dad and the fan. So I'm going to join them. And until next time, bye! Are you going to say bye? You going to say bye? You going to say bye? You going to say bye?